Hello, I'm Jashikins, and welcome back to Jash Reads. Tonight, we're going to be starting Animorphs number 2, The Visitor by K. Applegate. My name is Rachel. I won't tell you my last name. None of us will ever tell you our last names. Whenever I do use a last name, it's a fake. Sorry, but that's the way it has to be. And we won't tell you the name of our town, or our school, or even what state we are in. If I told you my last name, the Yeerks would be able to find my friends and me. And if they ever find us, it will be the end. They might kill us. Or worse. Yes, there really is something worse than death. I've seen it. I've heard the cries of despair from those doomed to be slaves of the Yeerks. I've watched as the evil gray slugs writhe and squeeze in through the ear and take over what was a free human being. There are 5 of us. Just 5. Jake, Cassie, Marco, Tobias, and me. Marco came up with a name for us. For what we are now. He called us Animorphs. I guess that's as good a name as any for what we are. Mostly, I still just feel like a normal kid, you know? But I guess normal kids don't turn into elephants or bald eagles. And normal kids don't spend their free time fighting to save the world from the nightmares called Yeerks. That day, the sun was bright. It warmed the earth below us. Warm air rose in an invisible bubble, a thermal. The thermal pushed up beneath our wings, and we circled higher and higher and higher, till it almost seemed we could touch space. Somewhere up there in cold space, up in orbit, was the Yeerk mothership, perhaps right over our heads. The Yeerks were parasites. In their natural state, they were just big slugs who lived in a sludgy pond called a Yeerk pool. But the Yeerks have the power to take over other bodies. They have enslaved many races throughout the galaxy, the Taxons, the Hork-Bajir, and others. And now they had come to Earth, looking for more bodies to control. Who was there to try and stop them? Well, off in space, there were the Andalites. But the Andalites were far away, and it would take them a long time to come to rescue the people of Earth. On Earth, no one knew of the Yeerks. No one but 5 kids who were having fun being birds and riding the thermals. I looked over at my friends. Some were a little way below, some were higher up. Jake was flapping his wings a little more than the rest of us. He had adopted a falcon morph. Falcons don't soar quite as well as hawks or eagles. Tobias was the smoothest flyer. That was partially because red-tailed hawks are natural acrobats. Partially, it was because Tobias had much more practice flying than the rest of us. Too much practice. Okay, Tobias, you're right. This is the coolest thing in the world, I said. Want to try a dive? It's amazing, he said. I wasn't exactly sure that I wanted to dive. But what could I say? I don't usually turn down a challenge. So I said, sure, follow me. Tobias bent his wings back and plummeted toward the ground like a bullet. I tugged my wings back and went after him. The ground came rushing up at me. I was falling with nothing at all to stop me from sliding right into the ground. It was like a nightmare. We were going like 60 miles an hour, as fast as a speeding car. 60 miles an hour, aiming right for the ground. But even though it was scary, it was also way cool. Forget surfing, forget skateboarding, forget snowboarding. You haven't had a thrill till you've ridden the thermals a mile into the air and then gone hurtling straight down at maximum speed. Airstream past, just like when you open the car window and you're going really fast. It was like being in the middle of a hurricane. The leading edge of my wings was battered and vibrating. I felt my tail making dozens of tiny adjustments, moving a single feather one way or the other to keep me pointed straight. But one wrong move, and I could have tumbled end over end. At this speed, if I suddenly tumbled, I feared I could break a wing. A broken wing this high up was a death sentence. Tobias, I just realized something. What? This isn't like being an elephant. If I get in trouble as an elephant, I could morph back to my human body. But I'm a long way up. If I morphed back to my human body, I didn't finish the sentence, but I suddenly had this vision of me, real me, Rachel, dropping like a stone toward the hard ground below. I guess Tobias could sense the fear that was building in me. Let the eagle do the flying, Tobias advised. Relax and let the eagle's mind do the thinking. She knows what she's doing. I'm glad one of us does, I said nervously. It's strange when you're in a morph. You have the animal's brain in with your own. Usually you can control that animal intelligence, but not always. And sometimes you have to learn to let go, to let the animal take charge. I relaxed. Instantly, the vibration lessened. I felt more stable. The eagle was in charge, and Tobias was right. The eagle knew how to fly. Then, to my amazement, I saw something go zipping right past us, faster than either me or Tobias. It was Jake. His peregrine falcon's smaller wings made it harder for him to float on the thermals, but those same wings made him unbelievably fast in diving. It was almost like Tobias and I were standing still. Yah! Jake yelled in our heads. I would have smiled if I had a mouth. Jake is like me. He loves excitement and adventure and being a little crazy. Maybe we're so alike because we're cousins. Also, we're both a little competitive, I guess. It bothered me that he was a faster diver than I was, just like it bothered him that I could soar better. I guess that sounds ridiculous, huh? Zing! Something went right by my head. You hear that? Tobias asked. Yeah, I sure did, I said. What was it? I don't know. Instinctively, I pulled up out of the dive, straining every muscle in my wings as I opened them and felt the shock of wind resistance. It was like opening a parachute. The rest followed my lead. We were still a few thousand feet up, but much closer to the ground than we had been. Zing! I felt something go right through my tail feathers. "Hey, someone down there is shooting at us," I said. I can see them," Cassie said. She and Margot had joined up with us. They had both morphed the same osprey. It was hard to tell them apart because you can't really tell where a thought speech comes from. Two guys over in the woods. They have a rifle. I can't believe this. I was really mad. I'm an endangered species. I'm a bald eagle. What's the matter with those creeps? "He's getting ready to shoot again," Marco reported. "I can see him taking aim. As soon as you see the flash of the rifle, dodge hard right," I yelled. A normal eagle or hawk or falcon would not have been able to figure that out. But we weren't just raptors. We still had our human intelligence. There are times to let the animal take over. There are other times when that superior human intelligence comes in handy. "There, they fired," Jake yelled. Instantly, I turned a sharp right. The bullet went whizzing by harmlessly. "You know what? I don't think I like those guys," Tobias said. Tobias has special reasons for disliking anyone who would shoot at a bird. "Me neither," I agreed. "I have an idea." I explained what I wanted to do, and the five of us flew off, out of range of the shooters. When we were far enough away, we went into a steep dive, down, faster and faster toward the trees. I thought I was scared diving from high up. Now I was diving at lower altitude, aiming directly at the trees. This was a whole new level of terror. With my eagle's eyes, I could see the bark on the trees. I could see ants on the bark of the trees. It was like those trees were right in front of us. I hoped the eagle knew when to pull out of the dive. If I slammed into one of those trees at 60 miles an hour, I was spam. Then, at just the right split second, like a perfectly trained squadron of fire jets, we opened our wings and swooshed into the trees. Unbelievable. "Aha!" I heard Marco yell. I don't know if that was fun or just insane. It was like some video game nightmare. We kept most of the speed from the dive, and now we were zooming through the trees so fast that tree trunks were just a brown blur all around us. Tree, bank left. Tree, bank right. Tree, dozens of feathers made the slightest individual adjustments. Muscles in my wings trimmed the angle of attack a millimeter one way, a millimeter back. "Tree, tree, 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 yeah!" I yelled, half from terror and half from the total out-of-control thrill of it. In and out, around and through, zoom, zoom. Suddenly, there they were, just ahead in a clearing. Two teenage creeps sitting in the back of a pickup truck. One guy had a blonde ponytail. The other one wore a baseball cap. They were 100 yards away, like being all the way down a football field. But my eagle eyes were so good I could count their eyelashes. The guy with the ponytail had the rifle. The other guy was drinking a beer. They were still scanning the skies, looking for us. Guess what, morons? I thought as we raced at them. We're not up there anymore. We're right here in your face. They didn't even have enough time to look surprised before we struck. As a bald eagle, I was the biggest of the 5 of us. I could carry the heaviest load. I raked my talons forward. I opened them wide. Jash! Tobias's hawk let loose an intimidating shriek. My talons hit the gun barrel and closed on it. Tobias slashed the Ponytail guy's head with his own talons. Ponytail shouted in pain and surprise and loosened his grip on the rifle. Hey! The second guy yelled. Zoom! I was out there with the rifle in my talons. With the additional weight of the rifle, it was a struggle getting any altitude. That beard has your gun, Chester, and that other one stole my beer. I glanced over and saw Marco. At least, I think it was Marco. He had the beer can in his talons, half crumbled. They're way too young to be drinking, Marco said in his most parent-like voice. I heard the Ponytail guy complaining down below. That ain't right. It ain't right that no bird should take my rifle like that. I caught a little breeze and gained just enough altitude to get above the trees. But I was having a hard time. My wings were being the still, dead air of the woods and not getting very much lift. I scraped the top of a tall pine tree and emerged from the woods, still flapping hard to carry the weight of the rifle. I made it out toward the beach, over the low cliffs at the water's edge. The blessed thermals were there. They lifted me up, and out over the water. I relaxed, letting the warm wind carry me higher. I dropped the rifle about a mile out in the ocean. I figured any jerk who would shoot at a bald eagle didn't need a gun. Marco dropped the beer with amazing precision right into a trash barrel. He looked as proud as he would have if he'd just thrown the winning basket in the NBA championship. It's been almost 2 hours, Cassie warned us as we lazily drifted back toward shore. 2 hours is the time limit. If you stay in a morph for more than 2 hours, you're trapped. Forever. And that's the first chapter of The Visitor. Hang on, before I continue, I need to drink. Due to my acid reflux, I can't drink coffee anymore. This is an update that sort of happened since last we spoke, so it's really bothering me. And right now I'm drinking some water. I go between tea, water, and Snapple right now. But anyways, back to the topic at hand. As always, I'm going to save big things until the very end of this read-through, of which I'm going to mention 5 big things, but I'm going to mention a few things that stuck out to me during this chapter. One of the things is that I always pride Animorphs on being extremely dark for a young adult series. It's a series that takes risks that a good majority of series just don't. It's like, oh, think of the children. And but at the same time, this series isn't always doom and gloom. It still allows these 5 kids to be, kids, to do kids things, to have kids problems, to have normal problems, not always these big dark things, but sometimes normal. And so I like that this book began out with something light and fluffy, to, not bring you into doom and gloom all at once, and to also, show the kids being kids. Like, yeah, there's some times where you're going to have to morph and it's going to be dark and depressing, but then there's going to be times when it's like, let's just have fun. Let's, just fly on thermals. Yeah. Yeah, it was a good opening to the book, I thought. So, what are your thoughts on this chapter? And again, for the spoilers, no major spoilers in the comments. You can talk about anything in a previous book, anything in this chapter, but major spoilers afterwards, no, like major ones, like, hey, there's this big twist at the end of the book, like, no. But if it's going to be something minor, like, we know from the end of last book that Tobias was trapped in red-tailed hawk morph, and hence the references. Like, that's a minor spoiler, because it's like, it's the second book in the series, so I wouldn't consider it as really a spoiler. Plus, it's like a big thing throughout the books themselves, so it's like, wow. But I would love to hear your opinions, so please comment below. Please, like and subscribe. And if you want to read ahead, follow along, or just, read the book for your own benefit, nothing to do with this read-through, there's a link down below if you're reading this on my blog. It's, at the bottom, and also in the description, if you're watching this on YouTube, the link to buy it is there. And the books are sort of out of print, but some books in the main series, like this book I read now, they have an ebook form. And if you follow the link, it takes you to Amazon, and you can buy used items through it. So, if you wanted, one of the books that were originally released. And if you're wondering why I use PDF files to read, I actually have, except for like 2 or 3 of the books in the entire series, but they're old books. Like, they've been, like, I bought them when they originally came out, sort of old, and they're worn, so I really don't want to destroy them. So before I say adieu, I'm going to be, taking a little shot. I don't have a shot glass anymore because someone who shall not be mentioned broke it. So basically, if you drink, get your favorite alcohols, maybe some wine, some vodka, whatever. If you don't drink, get alcohol, drink some water, some milk, something actually healthy for you, unlike what the rest of us are going to be doing. And let's see, yay, let's drink to the fact that Jash Reads has started again, and also in hopes for Jorah Mormont on Game of Thrones, my favorite character. And yeah, my favorite characters have a way of dying, even in shows where they have plot armor. So. And, oh god. I'm like, oh yeah, I only have 2 arms. Shit. Until next video, goodbye.